Powerful women are not the ones who beg, plead, or explain. They are the ones who understand silence and how silence can echo louder than 1,000 words. You see, attraction isn't built in noise, it's built in control. It's built when a person realizes you're not waiting for them to decide your worth. You already decided it yourself. Men always return not to comfort, not to convenience, but to power. And real power doesn't need to shout. It stands still, centered, unbothered, radiating self-worth so strong that the world bends toward it. When you stop chasing, something shifts, your energy changes, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability is magnetic. People crave certainty, but they respect mystery, and when you pull back not out of manipulation, but out of self-command, you stop being an option and start being a standard. Understand this: emotional discipline is not coldness, it's composure. You can love someone deeply and still refuse to crumble for them. You can care profoundly and still keep your peace sacred. Because the moment your emotions start controlling your actions, you've lost your power. And once your power is gone, so is respect. Men are not wired to attach to those who seek constant reassurance. They attach to those who have their own rhythm, their own direction, their own fire. When you move with purpose, when your focus is your growth, your peace, your evolution, you become something rare. You become someone who doesn't need love to feel whole, which ironically makes people want you more. Scarcity breeds value. That's not manipulation, that's psychology. What's constantly available loses its mystery, and what's rare becomes irresistible. When you stop offering your presence like it's a free sample, it becomes a privilege to experience it. Most people give too much too soon. They over-explain, over-invest, overstay, and in doing so, they drain the curiosity that fuels attraction. Power lies in restraint, in being able to walk away without bitterness, to hold your ground without aggression, because calm confidence is louder than anger. It's the quiet tone of someone who knows exactly who they are. If you want someone to come back, don't wait for them. Outgrow them. Evolve so profoundly that they no longer fit the version of you they once knew. That transformation, that silent evolution will echo in their mind far more than any words could. Men return not because you begged. They return because they felt your absence in a way that confronted their ego and challenged their comfort. They return because your withdrawal revealed their dependency. They return because for the first time they saw the difference between your attention and your energy. Your attention is free. Your energy is sacred. Don't hand it to anyone who hasn't earned it. Real attraction happens when two complete individuals meet, not when one incomplete soul tries to fill a void through another. So stop focusing on how to make anyone come back. Focus on becoming the kind of person people never forget. And here's the truth: the moment you stop needing them, that's when they feel your pull the strongest. Because they sense that you've detached. Detachment isn't about pretending you don't care. It's about choosing not to suffer in the process of caring. It's about valuing your peace more than your desire to be chosen. There's a kind of silence that haunts, a silence born of strength, not spite. When you embody that silence, the silence of a person who has outgrown chaos, it unsettles those who once thought they had you figured out. That's power. Not in words, not in anger, but in stillness. So stop proving, stop explaining, stop waiting for closure. Be your own closure. When you move on with purpose, when you turn your pain into focus and your longing into self-discipline, you create a gravitational pull no one can resist. Remember this: you don't attract what you chase, you attract what you embody. Be peace and chaos will seek you. Be confidence and insecurity will chase you. Be purpose and distraction will fade. Men always return to what feels powerful, rare, and emotionally stable. So if you truly want them to come back, stop trying to make them. Become someone they cannot replace. Because in the end, they don't return for the person they left behind. They return for the person you became while they were gone. People think attraction begins with looks, charm, or confidence. It doesn't. It begins with self-respect. The foundation of every powerful connection, romantic, professional, or social, is the energy of someone who does not need to be chosen to feel valuable. When you respect yourself, you move differently. You speak with weight. You walk with calm authority. You don't chase attention. Attention finds you. Because self-respect is silent confidence. It doesn't beg. It doesn't prove. It doesn't plead. It simply is. Think about it. When someone carries themselves with quiet certainty, when they have standards and boundaries that are non-negotiable, they become magnetic. Why? Because human nature is drawn to stability, to strength, to certainty, and self-respect is certainty. It's the unwavering conviction that your value is not up for discussion. Attraction dies where desperation begins. Every time you lower your standards to be accepted, every time you silence your truth to be liked, every time you chase what's running away you, teach others that your value can be discounted, and once that happens, you lose the one thing that sustains attraction mystery, rooted in dignity. Self-respect is not arrogance. It's not about thinking you're better than others. It's about knowing you don't need to beg for what aligns with your worth. You don't demand validation because you validate yourself. You don't settle for breadcrumbs because you know you bring a feast. There's a reason people who have self-respect seem effortlessly attractive. They radiate something that can't be faked: emotional independence. They are not seeking completion from others. They're already complete. And that wholeness is magnetic because we're instinctively drawn to people who don't need us but choose us. When you respect yourself, you stop trying to prove your value through attachment. You stop performing for approval. You stop explaining your boundaries to people who are committed to misunderstanding them. Instead, you set the standard, and those who can't rise to meet it naturally fade away. That's not loss. That's alignment. Understand this: attraction without self-respect is manipulation. It might spark desire, but it never sustains it. Because without self-respect, your energy becomes needy, and neediness repels what confidence attracts.
The moment you start trying to earn love, you lose the ability to inspire it.
True attraction is a reflection of how you treat yourself. If you allow disrespect, inconsistency, or emotional chaos, you communicate that you'll tolerate it again. But when you walk away from what doesn't honor your peace, when you detach from anyone who drains your energy, that's when the world starts to mirror your new standard. People return when you elevate. They feel the shift in your tone, your silence, your absence. They say who want to meet you at your level. It replaces confusion with clarity, pain with peace, and chaos with control. So remember, attraction rooted in self-respect lasts because it's built on truth, not fear. You don't manipulate to be chosen, you elevate to be aligned. You don't chase to be seen, you rise to be recognized. And when you stand in that power, when you carry the unshakable calm of someone who knows their worth, the world has no choice but to respond. Because self-respect doesn't demand attention, it commands it. Emotional control is not weakness, it is dominance over self, and that is the highest form of strength a human can possess. Anyone can react, anyone can rage, panic, beg, or break down. But the person who remains calm in chaos, that's the person who holds the real power. When emotions rule you, you're at the mercy of the world. Every word wounds you, every rejection defines you, every silence shakes you. But when you rule your emotions, nothing external can disturb your inner stability. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. That's where leadership begins, not over others, but over self. Emotional control isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about directing them. It's the ability to feel anger without destruction, love without obsession, sadness without despair. It's choosing to respond instead of react. It's seeing the storm inside you and refusing to let it dictate your path. People often mistake loudness for strength. They think the louder they shout, the stronger they seem. But true strength is silent, unshaken composure when others expect you to collapse. The calm person in the middle of chaos is the most dangerous person in the room because they're the only one thinking clearly. When you lose control of your emotions, you hand your power to whoever provoked you. They dictate your energy, your mood, your peace. But when you remain composed, you reclaim the authority over your life. You become unpredictable, and unpredictability is a form of power. No one can manipulate someone who doesn't respond emotionally. Think about it. How often do people get trapped by their own reactions? A single insult ruins their day. A rejection destroys their confidence. A delay breaks their patience. That's emotional slavery, allowing temporary situations to dominate your permanent mindset. But emotional control breaks that cycle. It teaches you restraint, not because you're afraid to feel, but because you've outgrown the chaos. You no longer need to prove your worth through emotional outbursts. You simply know your worth, and that quiet knowing is unshakable. When you learn to control your emotions, you stop negotiating with drama. You stop seeking validation from people who misunderstand your calm. You start operating from logic, clarity, and inner strength. And from that place, decisions become sharper, boundaries become clearer, peace becomes non-negotiable. Here's the truth. Most people don't want to face emotional control demon. DS maturity. It's easier to explode than to stay composed. It's easier to seek revenge than to walk away. It's easier to beg for closure than to accept silence. But that's the difference between a reactive person and a powerful one. Power is discipline disguised as peace. People respect those who can stay centered when everything falls apart. Why? Because it's rare. The world is full of people who crumble under emotion, but the one who remains grounded becomes a pillar, a reference point. Others look to. Emotional control doesn't mean you don't care. It means you refuse to be consumed. It's the art of feeling deeply but staying steady. You can love someone and still walk away if that love costs your peace. You can be hurt and still choose not to hurt back. You can be angry and still speak with reason. That's mastery, not indifference. Understand something. Power isn't in controlling others. It's in controlling yourself when others lose control around you. The calm man, the calm woman, they always win. Because emotional chaos burns energy. Emotional control conserves it. And energy is currency. When you waste it on overreacting, you stay stuck in emotional poverty. But when you preserve it through composure, you move with clarity, strategy, and grace. Even in relationships, emotional control changes everything. The person who reacts least leads most, not because they dominate, but because they set the tone. They create emotional safety through calmness. They establish strength through steadiness. And remember, people are drawn to what they can't easily shake. Emotional control makes you magnetic because it's rare. Most people are addicted to drama. When they meet someone who doesn't play their game, they become curious. That calm energy challenges their chaos, and that challenge turns into attraction. But let's be clear, emotional control isn't a trick. It's not about pretending to be unbothered. It's about being unbothered because you know your peace is more valuable than proving a point. It's about refusing to let temporary emotions destroy permanent standards. The strongest people aren't those who never feel pain. They're the ones who feel everything but never let pain rewrite their principles. They process it, learn from it, and move forward with composure. When you master emotional control, you become untouchable. No insult shakes you, no loss defines you, no rejection lowers you. You stay grounded, observant, precise, and that clarity is power. So the next time life tests your patience, don't rush to react. Observe. When someone provokes you, don't defend, decide. When emotions rise, breathe not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Because power is not in the outburst. Power is in restraint. The storm will pass. Deeply yet remain steady, the world bends toward your calm. That's not weakness, that's dominance. Because emotional control isn't just power, it's freedom. In every corner of life, relationships, ambition, influence, one law remains undefeated. Scarcity creates value. What's too available is taken for granted. What's too eager is ignored. But what's rare is revered. We live in a world addicted to more attention, more validation, more noise. People overshare, overgive, over-explain, and then wonder why their presence feels disposable. It's simple: when you flood the market with your energy, it loses its worth. Just like currency, the more it circulates without control, the less it's valued. Scarcity is not about pretending to be distant. It's about protecting your energy so it retains power. It's about being selective, not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. Because your time, your attention, your love, those are not infinite resources. They are limited, and that limitation is what makes them precious. You must understand this truth. Deeply availability kills desire. Mystery sustains it. What's easily reached is rarely respected. When you give everything, your time, your emotions, your effort without boundaries, people stop seeing it as a gift. Your time, they don't resent it, they value it. Because effort creates attachment. Investment creates appreciation. The harder something is to reach, the more we guard it once we have it. So if you constantly give your energy to those who don't reciprocate, you teach them that your worth is cheap. If you always say yes to keep peace, you silently destroy your own. If you never step back, people forget what your absence feels like. And when your absence stops mattering, your presence stops mattering too. Scarcity isn't about distance, it's about distinction. It's about setting the emotional economy around you. You don't have to withdraw from the world to become valuable. You just need to stop overspending your energy on things that don't pay back in growth or peace. Your attention is currency. Every time you spend it, ask yourself, is this purchase worth the price of my focus? Because the truth is, people notice what you stop giving more than what you keep giving. The moment you pull back, they feel the imbalance. They start to notice your absence, your silence, your calm withdrawal. That's the moment scarcity starts creating gravity. There's power in walking away quietly. There's power in not reacting. There's power in knowing you don't need to explain yourself every time someone fails to value you. The world adjusts to the boundaries of the self-assured. Scarcity teaches people how to treat you. It draws a line between those who take and those who contribute. It filters energy effortlessly. Because only those who truly care will step forward when access is reduced. The rest will fade, revealing their intentions. In your personal life, your career, your relationships, learn to use scarcity as strategy. Don't post every detail. Don't answer every call. Don't explain every decision. Because mystery sustains power. Power is not in being seen constantly, it's in being missed intentionally. Let people wonder where you've gone. Let them feel the weight of your silence. Let them realize the difference between your presence and your absence. Because that contrast, that space, is what builds longing, respect, and recognition. And remember, you don't lose people by being less available. You lose people who are only there for easy access. You don't lose opportunities by saying no. You lose distractions that were blocking the right ones. You don't lose power by stepping back. You gain perspective. Scarcity doesn't mean isolation. It means precision. It means living with purpose, speaking with impact, and loving with standards. So protect your energy. Be selective with your presence. Let your time, your words, your love mean something again, because in a world where everyone is screaming for attention, the quiet, controlled, scarce presence will always hold the highest value. Scarcity creates value because silence is louder than noise, rarity outshines abundance, and restraint is the truest mark of strength. Detachment isn't coldness, it's clarity, it's the moment. You stop chasing explanations and start mastering your emotions. It's when you realize that peace is louder than pleading and silence cuts deeper than shouting. Detachment is not the absence of care, it's the presence of strength. It means you can love someone without losing yourself. It means you can feel pain without surrendering your power. It means you can stand in chaos and still move with calm precision. When you detach, you stop begging for closure. You stop fighting for validation. You stop explaining yourself to people who were never listening. Because detachment teaches you something words never can, your effort. And that shift, that stillness disturbs them because your calm exposes their chaos. You see, detachment isn't just about stepping back from others, it's about stepping into yourself. It's about taking your power back from situations that drain you. It's about controlling your internal world when the external world tries to provoke you. The detached person doesn't suppress emotion, they process it without becoming it. They feel deeply, but they don't lose direction. They understand that pain is part of growth, but suffering is a choice. Every time you choose peace over reaction, you grow stronger. Every time you choose silence over argument, you gain control. Every time you choose to walk away instead of forcing a connection, you elevate your value, because people start realizing that your presence was never their right. It was their privilege. Detachment is how you teach the world what can and cannot shake you. It's not indifference, it's discipline. It's telling yourself, I can love without losing balance. I can care without collapsing. I can feel without falling apart. And here's the secret: detachment makes you unpredictable. It confuses manipulators. It frustrates emotional beggars. It unsettles those who expect you to react. Because when you don't play the emotional game, they lose control, and that's when your power becomes undeniable, your silence, your absence, your emotional restraint. They all carry messages that words could never deliver. They say, I no longer need to be understood. I've outgrown the need to prove anything. My peace speaks for me. That's real strength, not shouting, not revenge, not performance, but peace that no one can shake. So if you want to reclaim your power, learn to detach. Detach from what drains you. Detach from who disrespects you. Detach from needing to always be right, always be chosen, always be understood. Because the one who can detach at will from people, from outcomes, from ego, that's the one who is truly free. Detachment doesn't end love, it refines it. It doesn't kill passion, it purifies it. It doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. And when you live with that kind of clarity, the world can no longer control you. It reacts to you. Detachment speaks louder than words, because silence rooted in power echoes longer than noise rooted in fear.